Okay, so what we have here is the JCB 50742. This is a new product. It's one of four in a new range that we're arranged to show the client for the first time. This new range replaces our current 506 CHL and our 508 £6,000 and £8,000 machines. The new range is a 6036, a 7042, a 9042 and a 10056. It's a whole new range to replace the older one. The new machines are a high boom design, as we've seen here today. A lot of the European designs, the low boom, the agricultural machines, the typical sort of pick and place machine here in North America is a high boom. That's the difference with the two different ranges here. If we just start up at the front of the machine, we've got a quick hitch standard on the front, which is a single pin you pull out to drop off the carriage. We have standard carriages, 66 inch, 72 inches wide, side tilting, side shifting and jib booms for the front of the machine. On the other side of the swan neck there is standard auxiliary hydraulics, so you get that as standard on these machines. Frame sway, frame leveling, sway control, 10 degrees either way to level up your load. And then again, very similar to the machine we saw earlier today, the side-mounted engine pod. And the reason we've gone from this from our 506, 508 machines, which is central engine, we've gone to the side engine mounted. It's all to do with operator ease, getting to all his checks. Again, you can just jump into here, all his checks and fills are down here at ground level. You can get at everything. Anything more than that you need to get at, you can get all of this tint work and coolers off within about an hour, and you have basically an engine stand with your engine just sitting out here to do any major work on the engine. So it's all about reducing that downtime, keeping the machine running as quick as you can. So again, it's a JCB engine in here, JCB diesel wax. So we've got the JCB engine, some JCB power shift transmission, and JCB axle. So again, the entire driveline designed and built by ourselves. 85 horsepower turbocharged standard. We do option up to 100 horsepower in this machine. So this one actually has 100 horsepower with the intercooler in there as well. Moving a little bit further around, we have rear axle stabilisation on these units, and that's the first for JCB on this new range of machines. The 507, the 509, the 510, anything over 42 foot basically gets rear axle stabilisation as standard. It is a three-phase system, and it's done purely and simply on speed. If the machine is stopped and stationary, the rear axle stabilisation is locked. If you go anywhere from 0 to 3 kilometres an hour, it's in what's called a cushion mode, and it's a gradual mode. So when you go from 0 and start moving, it just starts to cushion. As you get up to 3 kilometres an hour, it gets less and less cushioning on that rear axle stabilisation. And then over 3 kilometres an hour, it's open and just allows the axle to float. So there's nothing to do with boom angles or a boom extension or anything like that. It's just purely done on ground speed. This is how that's monitored. Another feature that we brought over from the machine you saw this morning is our hydraulic tank is in the back. It is part of the frame of the machine. So all again, the thick steel on the side of the frame is the side of the tank. So the heat that's generated in the hydraulic circuit when it comes back to tank can get dissipated out from the tank with a lot of thick steel there. Just disperse all that heat away. Any questions on the side of the machine before I spin it around? Okay. The big difference between what the machine we showed this morning and this machine is those machines have hydraulic extension. When you push the boom out, it's all done by hydraulic cylinders. On these higher boom machines, they have chain extension, which as you push the first section out with the hydraulic cylinder, the chain then takes the next stages out, which gives us faster cycle time because the whole boom is extending at once as you push it out. To adjust the chains, it's adjusted on the top. A plate on the back of the boom that comes up to adjust the chains on the back end as well. The cab, as we talked about this morning, these machines are more used for people jumping on and off on job sites. from our current range to this range, we've lowered the cab height, the step on the bottom to be able to jump in. We still keep quite a high cab, just for visibility, so you can see all around the job site from the operator station. A lot of commonality of parts though from the machine we saw this morning, so it is quite a nicely appointed cab in there. It's power shift transmission, 4 forward, 4 reverse speeds, power shuffle, servo controls in the hydraulics with a secondary lever to get your fork tilt and curl. It has a placing pattern, so main servo control forward and back is lift and lower, side to side, it shoots the boom in and out. Sway control, as I've mentioned, so you have the levers for that, and then your 3 steering modes. You have the 2-wheel steer, 4-wheel steer, and crab steer modes. As you see today, this is the cab version. The standard machine would come with a canopy, which would have no glass except on the right-hand side. Got the operator put his arm out to the boom, and on the back, just to stop the dust and noise coming into the back of the operator's area. So it's option up to a cab. You can get a cab with heat, or an optional then again to get air conditioning into the operator's area. Any questions on the machine?
The front windshield protection standard.
Sorry, say that again? If you get glass on the front, yes, you'll get that grid on the front. Yeah. If you don't have glass here, you get a fender to stop the dust coming up into the operator's area.
Is this just to protect the gas can?
That is purely, yeah. Just stop the dirt getting off the cab, and then you just pin it up. When you're fueling, chuck it up out of the way.
Is this a hydraulic test port here?
It is, yeah.
Pressure test port?
All the test ports in the back. So capacity is a 7,000 pounds max lift, 28 foot of forward reach with 1,600 pounds of lift at full forward reach. All the capacities are done on air-filled tyres. There is an option to go to foam or calcium chloride filled tyres, but the standard is air-filled tyres.
Is this machine built in Savannah?
Yeah, all the high boom machines are all built in Savannah. Any other questions?
Go over again when you say between 0 and 3 kilometers or 3 miles an hour, how that rear axle works.
Okay, well there's 3 modes. You have the fully locked, the cushion mode, and then an open mode.
Okay.
So it's fully, when you stop 0 kilometers an hour, it's fully locked. You go from 0 to 3 with the modulated sort of grade or cushioning. So you don't just start moving and suddenly goes cushioned. It kind of eases open and open as you go to 3 miles an hour, 3 kilometers an hour.
Right.
Over 3 kilometers an hour, it's fully open.
Okay.
Just allowing the axle just to float.
No matter what elevation the boom's in?
No matter what the boom's doing, yeah.
Is that just on this model, or is it?
No, that's all of the 507, 509, 510, and 510 are all the same way.
Where is the hydraulic? It is locked up. Any questions? Any other questions?
Yeah.
You can still frame level even though the rear axle is flat, correct?
Yeah, it's a slowed down version, but yeah.
Slow it down.
Yeah, if you're stopped and your rear axle is engaged, it's locked, you can still frame sway. It's done basically the computer just slows it down slightly. So what it does is actually opens up the rear axle stabilization, so it's slightly cushioned and you just slowly go through it.
So you can level what's your position and then place it.
Yes. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jim Loadall with JCB. What we have here is a Type 3660 agri machine. We put a line of telehandlers together specifically for the ag market. So this is one of the machines, the 7,000 pound max lift machine to 20 foot 6 inches of lift height. We'll start off at the front of the machine and we'll work our way around. This is the JCB Q-fit system. On the front, what this allows us to do is put different attachments on. As Brian was talking about the tool carrier concept, it's exactly the same sort of thing. We hang all the different attachments onto this frame, so we can put large buckets on, we can put grapples, do faces and things like that in the ag market, as well as shown here with forks on. The way we detach them is through this hydraulic linkage down here, so you can do it all from within the cab. You can drop a bucket off and then go in and pick another attachment on and apply it hydraulically from the front, so an operator's not jumping in and out every time. With this unit, we have all of our hydraulics are up high and out of the ground. The actual tilt cylinder for the front end is inside the boom here, and then through this linkage system on the front is a little bit similar to a wheel-loaded Z-bar linkage. This linkage gives a lot of bucket breakout force. We have over 11,500 pounds of breakout force in the front of this machine, so when you have a bucket on, you can actually dig with it. You've got a lot of power there to dig with it. Auxiliary hydraulics up on the front, so again, when you're running those attachments, grapples, defaces, whatever it may be, you've got the hydraulics up there to power them up. You'll see when you look around the boom, there's a lot of thick material or heavy steel around there. That's all just purely for taking all that force that goes through here when you're digging, when you're loading heavier material with the unit. Moving a little bit further around, you'll see the frame. It's a non-swaying frame. It's a fixed, rigid frame. That's because in the agricultural market, we concentrate more on just pushing power, breakout force, and that digging power. We're not wanting to level the machine up like we do in the construction world. We just need a little more power in the front. It's a rigid, mounted frame. Thick, heavy steel all the way through. Again, all those digging forces that go through the machine. As we get to this side, this is the engine compartment. Very easy for operators to do their daily checks. Just flip the hood up. All your filters and fills and dips are all at ground level, just on this side of the machine. This is a 100 horsepower JCB engine in here. So it's an engine built by ourselves. It goes to a JCB transmission, again built by ourselves, and then onto JCB axles, again built by ourselves. So we build the entire machine as well as the entire driveline. So we control the whole quality of the whole machine all the way through. We're not relying on other manufacturers to make all the components for us. So again, 100 horsepower turbo intercooled engine, because we need a lot of that power, again, for that pushing power that we need when we're digging with these kind of units or loading with them. The hydraulic system on this machine, it's a gear pump system. It's 29 gallons per minute as its main pump. And its main pump does all the boom functions. So your booms, lift and lowers, and the hydraulics. So everything in the boom cycle, in boom hydraulics, is off the main pump. There's then another pump to run the hydraulic fan, because this machine has a reversing fan to blow the chaff away in the ag market. It also has another hydraulic pump for the steering. So when it's in that working application, you're using the steering, the fan's turning, you're not robbing oil from the main pump, which again would slow your main boom down. You have one pump dedicated to the main boom. So hydraulic reversing fan, as I mentioned, when the hood's down, air is being sucked in from the top through this grill and then out the bottom. So we're not sucking up from where all the dirt is on the ground, sucking from the top. We know that a lot of chaff and hay and things like that would land on the top, so we have the reversing fan that blows all that back off. You just have to be an idle, hit a button, and that blows that chaff back off again, and you just let it go, and it pulls it back the other way. So it's like a self-cleaning, and it's a wide core radiator for anything that does get through this mesh on the back. As far as the hydraulic system in the back of the machine here, the hydraulic system is actually built into the part of the frame. One of the reasons we do that is the big heavy thick steel plate that we have in the frame, that is the sidewall of the tank. When the oil's being used around the machine, so it's using a deface on the front, it's getting up, being pushed all the way up to the boom, being used and coming back to the tank, it gets very hot. You need to get rid of that heat out of the oil as quick as you can. But having the big thick side plates as part of the tank, it disperses that heat out of the tank, out of the oil as quickly as it possibly can before that oil is used and gone around the circuit again. We'll work our way around to the other side.
So to turn the machine, you can't rotate it in here.
Just spin it around?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, plenty.
So again, unlike the construction industry where these kind of machines are used as just a general machine that people are jumping on and off them all the time, we find in the ag world that people are actually sitting in the cab and being quite productive, sitting there for a long period of time. So we try our best to make it as comfortable as possible for our operators that are sitting up there all day, every day. So we have an air ride seat in there as standard in the agricultural models, just to take some of that bounce out of the operator, and you can set it for whatever weight you want it to be set at. The controls is the servo controls, and it's one lever in the machine. So there's your main lift and lower, and your tilt and fill from side to side. And then your auxiliaries are run on just the proximity switch in the top. So you're running the auxiliaries through your thumb. And then there's another roller on the top of the controller that shoots the boom in and out. So you haven't got an operator juggling from lever to lever to do all your different functions. Keeps his hand on one lever with all the buttons on his thumb, and you keep everything running there. Power shift transmission, so there's no heavy shifting in there. Forward reverse shuffle, all in one lever, fairly common with the telehandler line. And again, it's a JCB transmission and JCB axles underneath the machine. Air conditioning is standard in the agricultural models. You come with a cab, we don't get canopy version in the ag model, it's always a cab and always with air conditioning. Again, the guy is sitting up there in a dusty environment all the time, so we keep him well protected. If he does want to be open and ventilated, we have the stable door design for if he wants to just running around. Any other questions about the machine? Oh yeah, all the cabs come radio ready, so they stop the radio and talk to you wireless.
Yeah, Jim, okay, so this, on the ag side, obviously you've done some things to make it more operating friendly.
Yeah.
Do you have a feel for what percentage of that product is owned as opposed to competitors just on the ag side?
On the ag,
higher in your zone?
on the ag side,
It's always owned.
always owned, yeah, by the farm. Very rare.
Never, not through an RSC or
We put it, a very small handful in, but it's predominantly all competitors in the ag side.
so it's really switched.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good question. What's the JCB theory on you only use 5-1?
Sorry, say that.
What's your theory on only using 5-1?
The way I describe it, you've got to remember toilet paper. When you get a bit of toilet paper and you rip it always rips the bed straight line. There's a series of holes all the way along. If you put a big series of holes all the way around here, you get a weak ring all the way around the wheel, and you start cracking between. So instead of putting that weak line of holes in there, which goes as few as possible, we then dish the wheel slightly. So when you've got a flat machine face hub on the axle with a beveled wheel, you torque it up, you're actually using the wheel as a bevel to wash it, which holds the lug nuts on. So there's less lug nuts the operator to check, and it's providing a stronger wheel. Any other questions? This is the fuel tank. Fuel tank, right? A plastic fuel tank to avoid rusting. Especially in Savannah where I am, a lot of condensation in the air. If you put a steel tank on there, you get less problems, things like that. So we've built plastic tanks.
There's nothing there that identifies that as a fuel tank.
Apart from the cap. Yeah, they just caps with diesel on it.
Where is the hydraulic?
Hydraulic filter here, yeah.
Besides heating, are there any built-in things like that? Disconnects, battery disconnects?
Not as standard, no. There is key patches and things that Brian's doing to it. That'll come out launch next year, which is at the minute Loadall has key patches. there'll be an option of a keypad or electronic keys. Do either one.
Which unit is built in?
This unit's built in England. Yeah.
Paint finish?
Wet spray.
Wet spray. Any options that are not on the truck you can think of as suggestions?
The only things that would be extra work items to put on the boom, smooth ride, the anti-bounce smooth ride system you can fit onto there.
And what is that?
Smooth ride takes the bounce out of the boom, which is accumulated on the main lift. So if you've got a bucket of material and you turn it on as we're going down the road, the boom takes the float and stops the machine pitching and bouncing. It just floats along. So it makes it more comfortable for the operator and keeps more material in the bucket without bouncing and falling down the road. Yeah, it's basically a big accumulator on the lift to take that bounce. And then the other option are just different tyres if people want to have different brand or different style of tyre. This is the traditional sort of agricultural telehandler tyre.
Any other questions? Just run the boom out. Any other questions before you